Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into a huge, honestly profound philosophical concept today: legacy. Specifically, how we're preparing the next generation for the world they're going to inherit. Every single day we make choices, we build systems, and we create whole cultures. But really, how often do we actually stop and think about the long-term echoes of those actions? Well, today, we're pulling the lens way back. We're going to look at a framework that asks us to evaluate our lives and our societies not just by what works for us right now, but by what those choices will mean for people who haven't even been born yet. Okay, let's dive into this with a really poignant thought drawn from Dr. Susan Edwards' core essay. She kicks things off by invoking the words of singer-songwriter Sarah Bareilles. Bareilles had this amazing realization while sitting in a cemetery in Queens. She sang about listening to the metaphorical symphony of past heartbeats right beneath her feet. And when you actually pause and think about all those names and dates of people long gone, it kind of hits you. Life is meant to be meaningful. All those heartbeats, they represent real hopes, dreams, fears, and challenges. It's this powerful reminder that we are part of a massive continuum. We're literally the living result of everything they did. And right now, we are writing the history of the future. This deep cultural connection we hold between the dead and the living perfectly captures the macro-level question of our human story. Think of it like we're standing right in the middle of a massive bridge. Looking back, we really have to ask ourselves, what exactly did we inherit from our ancestors? And then, looking forward, what legacy are we going to leave behind for the living who follow us? It's so easy to just accept the world as it is, but this whole framing, it demands that we look at our inheritance, the good, the bad, the whole shebang, and actively decide what we're going to do with it while we're here. So the absolutely crucial point here is that we've got to move from just passive reflection into active legacy building. It's one thing to sit around and think about the past, right? It's a completely different thing to actually shape the future. The source text brings in this fantastic quote from Amelia Earhart. She argued that we should always chase the sun and chase our dreams. And she hit the nail on the head when she said the hardest part isn't the work itself, it's that initial decision to just act. Once you make that choice to participate in building a legacy, the rest is just tenacity. It means we have to actively engage with the world rather than just letting it happen to us. All right, let's see how this builds into the overarching framework of today's explainer. We're looking at a concept called to the seventh generation. This is a specific framework where we evaluate our hopes, our fears, and our societal challenges. But, and here's the kicker, we aren't just evaluating them in the context of our own lifespans. We're evaluating them in the context of our ancestors and, critically, our descendants 7 generations into the future. Just think about that for a second. If you evaluated every major decision you or your community made by how it would impact someone 7 generations from now, wow, your choices would probably change drastically, right? It's just an incredible lens for long-term responsibility. Now we're going to zoom in from that macro-philosophical level to Theme 1, The Heirs of Our Ways, authored by Dr. Patricia D. Hall. This theme opens with a truly beautiful ideal set forth by UNESCO in their Convention on the Rights of the Child. UNESCO envisions a world where every single child grows up in an atmosphere of happiness, love, and understanding. The proposal is that youth should be completely prepared to live an individual life in a society that brings them up in the spirit of peace, dignity, tolerance, freedom, equality, and solidarity. I mean, it's a brilliant, shining goal for what human inheritance should look like at its absolute best. But the source material provides a really stark juxtaposition here. We have those beautiful UNESCO ideals on one hand, but they're contrasted with the grim, honestly horrifying realities present in our world today. Children right now face unimaginable exploitation. We're talking about detained migrant children on borders, child waste pickers around the globe, the absolute tragedy of child sex workers, and kids suffering from lead-based brain damage in places like Flint. The text places these realities side by side to impartially report on the massive gap between what we aspire to leave for the next generation and the incredibly harsh, complex failures that millions of vulnerable children are actually inheriting right this second. Because here's a fundamental truth the text points out. Our children inherit everything. They inherit all the incredible wisdom, the culture, and the advancements of our ancestors. But they also inherit the critical, deeply entrenched problems that we just haven't solved yet. When we hand over the keys to the world, we aren't just handing over the successes, we're handing over the crises too. And recognizing this dual inheritance, that's the very first necessary step if we actually want to change the trajectory for the better. So how do we actually bridge that massive gap between those harsh realities and the UNESCO ideal?
Well, the source material argues that it requires a highly multidisciplinary approach to create healthy communities. We can't just rely on one single field of study. We need to actively listen to lessons shared by experts across neuroscience, child development, cultural anthropology, technology, and trauma-informed family support systems. By pooling knowledge from all these distinct fields, we can start to actually engineer environments where kids aren't just surviving the problems we left them, but are genuinely equipped to overcome them.
And when we successfully integrate all those sciences, technologies, and support systems, it's a real game changer. We shift the paradigm entirely. We move away from simply managing crises and instead create pure, joyous opportunities for all our children to really flourish. A healthy community basically acts as the fertile soil. It allows the next generation to reach their absolute highest potential, completely secure in their environment and supported by the wisdom we chose to pass down. Think of legacy kind of like a single green sprout emerging from the soil. Ensuring our youth can thrive today is the exact mechanism that allows them, in turn, to grow and leave a brilliant legacy of their own. It's a massive chain reaction. If we do the hard work of building healthy communities for them right now, we empower them to become the resilient, innovative ancestors for the generations that follow them. We are literally planting the seeds for a harvest we will never see. And that, right there, is the very definition of building for the seventh generation. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with the ultimate provocative question posed directly by the source text. What legacy will we leave children? It's a question that challenges every single one of us to look at our own role in this generational chain. Are the actions you're taking today building a bridge to a better future? Or are they adding to the problems the next generation is going to have to solve? Take a moment today to really think about that seventh generation and how your daily life contributes to the legacy of humanity. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope it sparks some curiosity about the world you are building.